Welcome back to the channel. My name is Tim, and I am a newly retired educator living in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And I welcome you to our lovely little group here on YouTube. I've talked a little bit about sort of some of the decisions I've been trying to make for my own personal well-being, especially when it comes to developing an essentialist sort of lifestyle or decluttering my house, because I am a huge clutter bug. And today I want to talk to you about a step that I'm taking to sort of take my own process to the next level. There are a lot of philosophies out there on how best to go about decluttering the things in your life that you no longer need. And one of the most famous, probably, and one of the things mentioned most often in the comments of my videos is the KonMari Method. And that is something decided by Marie Kondo, where she talks about going through your belongings and holding them to your chest or to your heart and trying to decide if it still brings you joy, because her whole philosophy is your home should be a place that brings joy to your life. And if there are things in your house, in your home, that are not bringing you joy, maybe you don't need them anymore. Another thing that a lot of people have talked about in the comments is this idea of Swedish death cleaning. And this is based on a book on that subject, on the idea that as you get older, you start to get rid of things you no longer need. So it's a long process over a number of years, where the KonMari Method might be something that happens in a matter of hours or days or even weeks, and you're done and you move on. Swedish death cleaning is one of those things that the things that you needed in your 40s, maybe you don't need all of those things in your 50s. And then maybe those things that you needed in your 50s, you don't need all of those things in your 60s. And you can begin to let go of things. And the idea is that when you are gone, you are leaving behind much less for your children or other relatives to deal with in your absence. And so this is another one of those methods that has been mentioned a lot in the comments of my videos. And I certainly see a lot of benefit to both of those things. And I think to some extent, I'm probably doing both of those things. Now that I'm 65 and my living has changed and my finances have changed, there are things that I've been hanging on to for a long time that I just don't need anymore. But there are other philosophies as well that you may or may not be familiar with. And I just want to take you through a few before we come to the one that I've sort of settled on for me. Another one that people use a lot, and I have some experience with this, is something called the 1 in, 1 out rule. And it's a rule that I intend to use from time to time. So if, for instance, I have a wardrobe now that is plenty of jeans, plenty of slacks, plenty of shirts. I don't really need to start stockpiling more shirts, but there are a few shirts that maybe I like less than others. And so if I go out and buy a shirt, I need to get rid of a shirt. So if I bring something in, I need to put something out. So if I get a new pair of shoes, maybe there's a pair of shoes I can get rid of. Another thing that people do, and I guess to some extent maybe it's what I've done, is create what they call a capsule wardrobe. So you pick a color palette and you cull your clothes down to this color palette where you can mix and match, and a minimum number of items can create a maximum number of looks. And this is really probably used mostly by women who are mixing and matching, slacks and skirts and blouses and blazers and other things. But, for me, it's the same kind of thing. I have a wardrobe that I can pack minimally for travel, and the capsule wardrobe works really well for travel to help you get down to where you can pack for a week. This is a message to my daughters. You can pack for a week in one carry-on bag. Honest to God, you can. Honest. I guess we'll find out in March when we go to Scotland. But so this is just another way of trying to declutter, relieve some of the stress of the mess in your house. And then there is something that on the surface sort of sounds easy, but in reality, it's really extreme. And that is this 30-day challenge for decluttering, where on day 1, you get rid of one thing. And on day 2, you get rid of 2 things. And on day 3, you get rid of 3 things. Now, that sounds really, really simple. But at the end of 30 days, you will have eliminated over 460 items in your home. 460. That's extreme, okay? This idea of, 1 or 2 things here or there, that's easy to think about. But along about day 13 or 14, you're going to be like, oh my God, I got to find 13 items. I got to find 22 items. I got to find 28 items. And it can be extreme. However, it can also be extremely helpful. And it's something that you might want to consider. Maybe it fits your personality style. It doesn't particularly fit mine, but maybe it might fit yours. One thing that I have stumbled across with YouTube videos, especially for women again, is this 333 challenge. And that is, you choose 33 articles of clothing and you wear only those articles. That doesn't include like underwear or those kinds of things, but 33 items of clothing, and you only wear those things for 3 months. That's a long time. But what you will find is, at the end of those 3 months, is you don't really need a lot of the other stuff in your closet. And so you could go through and pick out things that maybe you were thinking about whether you needed them or not, and you can get rid of those things. And then you can choose a different 33 items for the next 3 months. There's no rule that says you only can have 33 items in your closet. That's ridiculous. But what it will do is show you that you can mix and match enough that you don't need something different every day. And like I said, most of us are using multiples of these things on a regular basis. And a lot of it depends on the room that we're decluttering, or the kinds of items that we're decluttering, or maybe when we're decluttering. But, we can mix and match. We don't have to be stuck to one. But I have found one that I think is going to work for me to keep my apartment sustainable. And that is something called the 5S method. Now, the 5S method is really the underlying philosophy of Marie Kondo's KonMari Method, where the 5S method is looking much more toward the utility of something. Marie Kondo is looking for, does this bring you joy? And the 5S method is a Japanese management tool. The Japanese have come up with a ton of great ways to work more productively in the workspace. And some of those things can be brought out and put into our everyday lives. And so there are 5 Japanese words that begin with S that I am not going to pretend to pronounce. But I'm going to put them up here on the screen, and I'm going to put the sort of the English nuance of those words, which also begin with S, so they count. The 5 S's are basically these: to sort, to set in order, to shine, to standardize, and to sustain. Now, this sort method is sort of what Marie Kondo is all about, and that is to decide, do I need to keep this item or do I need to get rid of this item? And if I get rid of the item, do I need to throw the item away, or do I need to donate it, or do I want to sell it in a yard sale? And you're just sorting things out. And I have done that. The very first video that I did on decluttering, which was how do you get rid of 35 years of stuff? And it has almost 900,000 views at this point. That's really what that video was about. What I had done was to look at the things in my bedroom and the things in my closet and to sort out, what do I need to keep? What can I get rid of? And if I get rid of them, where do I put them? And just sorting them into various piles. So the next S is to set in order. And basically what that means is that the things that you're keeping, you store them in the most logical, convenient, easy to use space. So you might think about your kitchen. When you're standing at your stove and you're cooking, how easy is it for you to get to your spices? How easy is it for you to get to the flour or the sugar or the oil? How easy is it for you to get to the spatula or, some other cooking utensil that you might need? Are they all within arm's reach? If you have to turn around and walk to another cabinet, maybe it's not in its optimal place. For me, looking in my closet, which is where I'm going to start with this, I've already done the decluttering piece of my closet, but my closet's not done yet. But that's the first thing that I'm going to look at is the things that I have decided to keep. Do I have them on the optimal shelf? The things that I use most often, are they within easy arm's reach when I walk into the closet? Or if there's something that I need to keep, but I don't use that often, do I have them placed up on a higher shelf where I can get to them, but I don't have to get to them every day? And so looking for this idea of setting in order. The third S in the 5S method is shine, and that is that everything that you've decided to keep, make sure that it's clean, make sure that it's working. If there's something missing off of it, fix it. And just make sure that everything is of a good utility for you to be able to use readily and easily. And again, this works in the kitchen. Are the things in your kitchen clean? Are you going to have to wash something from 3 days ago to cook dinner today? I shouldn't go there because I do that too much, okay? But those kinds of ideas to shine. And then there is the idea to standardize. Now, to standardize means that we are going to systematically reevaluate the space. And for me, I can't reevaluate every room in my house every single day. And so I have an app, one of the apps that I really love, called Todoist. And I have paid for that app. I paid the yearly subscription for that app. And that is my to-do list for every day. And so, for instance, I might put on my to-do list, every Monday, I will reevaluate my closet or my bedroom. Let's use the whole bedroom because most of the stuff's in the closet. Every Tuesday, I will reevaluate the kitchen. Every Wednesday, I will reevaluate the bathroom. Every Thursday, I'll reevaluate the photography room. Every Friday, I'll reevaluate the living room. And then Saturday and Sunday, even though I'm retired, I'm still giving myself a weekend, okay? And so by taking the time, probably will take less than 5 minutes to just go through and is there something that I've put that is not where it's supposed to be? Do I need to put it back where it belongs? Do I have something in the closet that really needs to be, after using it for some time, I realize it needs to be on a top shelf, or something I had on the top shelf needs to come down to a lower shelf because I used it more than I thought. We're just reevaluating the space, making a few tweaks and adjustments, and making sure that everything is still neat and tidy and in order and clutter-free. And then the last thing in the 5S method is to sustain. And really sustain is just learning the habit to do the first 4. And I'm hoping by putting that on my to-do list, where it nags me. One of the things that I can't stand on my phone is to have little numbers on top of each app to tell me something is new that I haven't looked at yet. I try to get rid of those like every 30 minutes. probably OCD in some respect. And so on my to-do list, if I have a 1 or a 2 up there, I know there's still 1 or 2 things I have to do before I go to bed. I have to pick that to 0. And so I will look and say, oh, well, okay, I haven't reevaluated the closet yet. And I'll just go in and spend a few minutes. I'll look around, tidy up a couple of things, and I'm done. I can move on. So I want to demonstrate what that looks like. And in the next video that I'll publish, it will be a look at the closet, because even though I've decluttered the closet is not completely clutter-free. And I want to look at some things that maybe I didn't even bother with the first time around. And then I want to try to figure out if I've got everything in the spaces they need to be, or is there someplace else I should put them? If you've got another method that you use that I didn't touch on today, please leave it in the comments below and let the rest of us kind of know that we have another weapon in our arsenal. And as always, I really appreciate you watching, and I appreciate all of the comments that you leave. I'm still catching up on comments from a month or 2 ago. Bear with me. I will get there eventually. But I'm trying to stay on top of them now. And your continued follow of this channel is very, very much appreciated. We'll see you next time.